I'm Ben, this is Readysetink, and today we're talking about all of the Ruby cards in Rise of the Floodborn. And why would we do that? Why would we take a day to talk about 34 cards from a set a long time ago, last year in fact? We're going to talk about it so we know what the cards do, so we know what's spicy, we know what we could go up against, what we could build. We could talk about Damari and figure out what she does, because I don't remember what she does at all, but we're starting at the beginning with good old Baloo. This is Baloo. He says the bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. This is actually a pretty good stat line for the cost of it. Usually these red cards will have a little bit more strength than other cards. And usually you have to pay 4 ink to get a stat line like this, to get these 4/3 stat lines. You can like see the goat, or there's lots of other examples. Chicha's daughter. Who is it? Cha-Cha? No. Is that her name? Is her name Cha-Cha? In the new set? Cha-Cha. Yeah, we got it. See, you pay for it, you get the 4/3 stat line, but Baloo doesn't have the 1. So that makes sense. So that's what I'm talking about there. We need to know all the cards all the time. This is bound. He is from Raya and the Last Dragon, if you didn't know. And he says, if you see any hungry faces, send them my way. Because his whole thing is that he has a boat and he likes to make food on his boat, right? Is that his whole thing? I probably need to rewatch that movie. He costs 2, 3, vanilla. He quests for 1 more. Nothing special about him. No Floodborn character to go with him. He only has the ally attribute. So overall, underwhelming. Overall, doesn't add any value to your deck. Baloo has the same attributes, but he has a lot of strength. I definitely paid the 1 extra ink to get 2 more strength on a card, right? I'd rather have the blue than the bound. That's just my opinion. This is Card Soldiers, and it costs 5. And I've talked about it in a lot of these videos, that I think that the 5 cost slot needs to like change the game for you. It needs to be something crazy valuable, like the Robin Hood or the Robin Hood, the Beast Tragic Hero. The 5 slot has to have a lot of value, like Maui, the rare, that can just banish anybody, that only has 1 less willpower and 1 more strength, doesn't have any lore. This doesn't really change the game for you. Yeah, it might be able to take out some characters, but like, if you have 2 lore on a character, you're usually going to want to quest the character unless its ability is super good. Speaking about super good cards, this is not one of them. This is the 5-drop legendary Donald Duck. Usually the legendaries have some sauce, but Donald didn't see anything. You can get this guy to a bunch of willpower. You can put him at a location like Rapunzel's Tower and give him +3 willpower, and then that would bring him to a what? 8, so then you could have at least 7 damage on him, so he could quest for 8. Ooh, that's kind of crazy. He's evasive, so usually only you'll be able to damage him, or your opponents will be able to do a little bit of removal. But if you put this at Rapunzel's Tower, maybe this is kind of sick. Maybe this is a deck that we'll try out together on Inktable in the coming days. This character gets +1 lore for each 1 damage on him. So that's what that's about. You want to put damage on him and then quest him. If you put him at Rapunzel's Tower, you can make this thing quest for 8 because he already gets 1 lore, and then you can have 7 damage on him. You quest him for 8. Ah, boom! That'd be kind of a crazy wombo combo, and then you lucky dime this thing. You can't lucky dime it because we're playing this at Rapunzel's Tower. We need it at Rapunzel's Tower to be able to have more willpower. I don't know if that's the wombo combo that the game designers were going for when they had this in mind, but that's what's coming to mind right now. Like, just giving this person more willpower is good. And then it also fits with that new Wreck-It Ralph that's red that says whenever you ready this, gain a lure for damage on it. And then you pair this with like one of the song cards that we got in this, which is Teeth and Ambitions, which is a great song card. We'll talk about this later, but basically you get to put 2 damage on one of your characters, and then you can proc their abilities that need damage on it. This is Felicia, and I played this as a 1-drop instead of Minnie Mouse. Like, lots of people were playing, it's not even this Minnie Mouse, it's the Minnie Mouse from set 1 and the Olaf. Like, this could counter the Olaf real quick, because they were playing in Rise of the Floodborn meta, they were playing cards that had a 1/3 stat line. This one has a 3/1 stat line, so this can take out the Olaf, take out the Minnie Mouse, can take out even the Steel Aladdin that nobody knows about right now. The Steel Aladdin that has a 1/3 stat line, it's gonna pop off. I watched a podcast where Zan said was like, I think that going item disruption with Aladdin and shifting them by discarding a location and then questing to get rid of their fishbone quill or popsicle is the way to go. That might be spicy, but Felicia was here to take it out. So this might be a tech in the future. It is reckless, but it doesn't have rush. So you can't use it the turn that it's played, but you can pair this with Cogsworth again, and then do your wombo combo that way. A 2-card combo to take out 1 card. It can't take out Daisy Duck, which is just too bad. But if you pair it with a card like Lumiere, not this Lumiere, the Lumiere from Ursula Return, you get +1 strength and +1 willpower. Felicia's, she's all right. She's not that bad. I definitely have the Felicia over the Bound or Blue, right? She's here to challenge people, and that's all right with me. This is Fidget. And the amount of times that I made a fidget spinner joke when I've had this card in my hand and then I've spun it around a couple of times and said, hey, yo, look at this, a fidget spinner. That's absolutely crazy. I've made so many TikToks just about this one card being a fidget spinner. This is Radigan's henchman, and he's kind of crazy in the anime. And he's got this little knife for a knee. Like, are you crazy? Not a knee, but for his foot. He's got like a little pizza cutter wheel. He's a crazy character in The Great Mouse Detective. You stay away from him. He's wild. When a normal henchman won't cut it, you need a fidget. This is the Dreamborn version. He's an ally. He's got the 3-2 and evasive. The 3-2 on evasive is really good. This can take out Diablo while it's on a cove. This can take out Minnie Mouse. This is when I played it. Like, I played, I think, 3 of these Minnie Mouse, and then I played 1 of this fidget just in case my opponent went first and had their Minnie Mouse on the board. I'd be able to take it out with my fidget because this has 3 willpower. Sorry, it was behind my head. This has 3 willpower, and you need to take us out somehow, and it has evasive. That's what I'm talking about. You need to take out the evasive characters with other evasive characters. Otherwise, what's the point? This is Honest John. Honest John fell into the same kind of category as Nana, Blue Fairy, and Bucky. Bucky was the best of them. Bucky only cost 2. This one probably had the ink curve right. It's 3 cost uninkable for Honest John here. And he has the ability Easy Street. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, each opponent loses 1 lore. Kind of skibbity. I like it. This hasn't been used as any sort of spice in any meta decks that I've seen. But it's there. One day, it'll do good. And you can pair this with Lady Tremaine that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. In about 2 cards, we're going to talk about a Lady Tremaine that you can pair this with. Because you'd be able to go, Lady Tremaine, you'd play this on 3, play this on 4, and then you'd shift this on 5. And then you would make them lose a lore, and then make them lose a lore again for shifting and take out the thing. It'd be a cool wombo combo. They kind of set it up like that, but I don't think I ever played a deck like that where Honest John procced the Tremaine and then shifted into the train. This Tremaine, a super good card until Medusa came along. I really still like it because of Quest for 2 lore. It's how you can win games. Having 2 lore questers in your Ruby Amethyst goes good. And this is mostly just a Ruby Amethyst card. It's not much seen in the classic Red Fossa deck. It's, I don't know, it kind of stayed in the Ruby Amethyst realm of cards. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and banish 1 of their characters. So this is one of those cool cards that gets around Ward because you're not the one choosing, your opponent chooses. So if your opponent just had a Cogsworth on board, the one that has Ward and provides resist from people, boom, you play down the Lady Tremaine, it gets banished because that's the only card they could choose. That happened more than once. And another crazy thing that you can do with this Lady Tremaine is you can shift this Tremaine on top of the same Lady Tremaine because you can shift her on one of your characters named Lady Tremaine. This is named Lady Tremaine. You can play this card on top of Lady Tremaine. So if you only have 4 ink and you can't pay the 6 and you have to get rid of one of your other opponent's characters so they don't win next turn, boom, just shift your Tremaine on your Tremaine. I played one game where a person shifted their Tremaine twice. They shifted onto the Tremaine and then they shifted that Tremaine again and they cleared my whole board that way. They're crazy moves, but that's just what it do be like. And then this Enchanted, I actually pulled. You can see here it has a little 1 here. That's because I own this card, and that makes me feel nice. She's a good card, but she got outclassed by Medusa, and people are keeping that idea about it. And then the common nomenclature about these cards, her and Lady Tremaine, or Lady Tremaine and Medusa and Yzma, is called the ladies in chairs. So if you ever hear someone say the ladies in chairs, this is one of the ladies in a chair. She's a lady and she's in a chair. This one, not so much in a chair, but that's okay. Her main art, this one that people will have, she's in a chair. And this is Felicia, if you didn't notice. No, oh my gosh, forget me. That's not Felicia. Felicia's from Great Mouse Detective. This is Lucifer. And we talked about Lucifer last week in the Emerald cards. He's a 5 cost. But this seems to be like the Floodborn Lucifer because he's got a little crown, and we don't have a Lucifer like that yet. Look at that little crown, how cute. This Lady Tremaine, you can shift this Tremaine onto, but it doesn't go so well. I tried playing a deck where like that was the main like thing that you were trying to do. You were trying to get Lady Tremaine out early by playing this Lady Tremaine, the overbearing matriarch. It says not for you. That's her ability. When you play this character, each opponent with more lore than you loses 1 lore. So it's not as good as Aladdin. Aladdin costs 3. It's not as good as Aladdin. Aladdin says when you play this character, each opponent loses a lore. This one has a little stipulation. It says each opponent with more lore than you loses 1 lore. So if they don't have more lore, if you beat them in the lore race, it's not going to matter. But usually you can let them take an early lore and then boom, zap them back down to 1 on turn 2. It's kind of on a on the draw going card and not so much on the play going card. So you keep this in your mulligan if you are on the draw, but you don't really want to keep this if you're on the play because you want them to gain the lore first. This is Lumiere, and Lumiere, the hot-headed candelabra, has more strength and more willpower than the god of the underworld Hades. And I thought that was so funny for so long. I don't get it why this guy could banish a Hades, but he sure can. He's got the willpower for it. He's got the strength for it. It wrecks up the Hades. You don't believe me? Fine, we'll search the Hades. The Hades I'm specifically talking about is this Hades right here. If this Hades and that Lumiere went into a challenge, this the Lumiere would survive and this would be banished. And it's pretty funny. Oh boy, I don't like that button. That's what I'm talking about there. Lumiere can beat the god of the underworld. The one that's a Floodborn. The one that like means business. This is Minnie Mouse. Super good. Underrated right now. It's not in decks right now, but in set 2 meta, it was all in everybody's deck. And what kind of cat is this? What is that? Is that from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or something? Why have we not talked about this cat? I don't know what this cat is. I really don't. Please tell me in the comments what this cat is. The foil went down to $1. I kind of want to see how much that foil went for, because I think that foil was like $5 before. We need to go to printing and foil. And a year ago, it got up to like $4 and probably $1.27 shipping. This thing used to be about a $5 foil last year, but now you can get it for like $1. And that's pretty good. If it's aggro you seek, it's Minnie Mouse on fleek. Nope, I don't like that. And then this Minnie Mouse definitely saw no play. This one is looking like it's going into Ursula's lair. Is this Ursula's lair? Look at all those sawtooth things. That's crazy. She's diving with the Donald Duck from the Steel ink, and they get separated. But what was Minnie doing with Donald in the first place? We'll never know. And then this is the special little puzzle piece that we got in the Rise of the Floodborn puzzle cards. Back when we thought that everything that we got was going to be puzzle cards, and then the location information cards ruined it. We get the Shift 2. You play 2 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Minnie Mouse. So you can play this early. It had a promo card. The promo card didn't do much better. You can get promo cards, for 50 cents cheaper. I'm thinking about the surfing one. Anyway, this one has a huge stipulation. It has evasive, so that's kind of cool. But it has a huge stipulation. If you want to get 3 lore with it, you can. But you have to do some work to get there. It says whenever you play a second action in a turn, this character gets +2 strength this turn. So if you double sync with Ursula, you can quest for 3. But other than that, playing 2 actions a turn is kind of hard. It's a hard thing to do, play 2 actions in a turn. And then our last Minnie Mouse of the set is Minnie Mouse zipping around. The 3/2 vanilla card only costs 2, is your shift target, but other than that, just being a vanilla doesn't do you much good. She doesn't even have like the princess keyword. She has the hero keyword, which might actually be kind of good because there's lots of hero synergies going on, especially with that new Anna that lets you get +1 lore on all your heroes if the Anna quests that turn. This is Mother Gothel, and she's underrated, maybe? If you have a way to heal her, namely the Rapunzel, she is incredible. She's the Mambo combo, if you will, because she's a mom. She's a fake mom. She stole a baby. What have you done when this character enters play with 3 damage on her? And that's the exact amount of damage that you need to heal with Rapunzel to draw the maximum amount of cards. It's the combo. They go together. It's lovely. She is super good. And this animator draws all 5 fingers on every hand. And we like to see that. Give this artist some props. They drew all the fingers. Incredible value. She's good, and she can hit hard. She can take out whatever she wants. And if you heal her up, she's going to be invincible. Why can't I see how much this card is in foil? I would love to see the specific price of this. It's 15 cents, but I would... Oh, there it goes. $1.39. Good to know. Because that's the only other rarity of her. And if you're playing a classic Mufasa deck, you're probably playing her. Or if you're playing like a red, yellow, heal with Rapunzel deck, you're probably playing her. It's the best combo to be able to draw 3 cards on turn 4 with the other Rapunzel. Or earlier, if you hit that Gaston down or a Pluto down faster. This is Mulan. Mulan has Rush. Wow. And her flavored text is out of this world. It's actually out of the lore book. This is straight from the anime. It says, I have to do something. That could mean anything. And look at her going. She's burning it down. 4/3 with Rush with 1 lore. Is that outclassed by this? This is inkable and costs 1 less. This is non-inkable, costs 1 more, but has Rush. Do you like Baloo or do you like Mulan? You kind of like Mulan because the Rush. The Rush may be a little bit underrated, but also maybe it's the same amount of value as just being able to ink something. It's probably the same. These 2 cards are probably perfectly balanced as all things should be. Namari was a huge jerk in the movie. She shot a crossbow at Sisu. Just a big jerk thing to do. She's the nemesis, and I couldn't agree with you more. The Storyborn villain, but she's also got the princess keyword, so she can fit in your princess decks. I didn't think of that when I made a princess deck, but she can definitely fit into the princess deck. Need to remember, Namari, a princess. It has the exert. Banish this character, banish chosen character. She kind of takes 1 for the team to take 1 for the team. Not the best value, especially with Dragonfire just being 1 more ink, and then you don't have to have it dry and then wait a turn. Not the best card. I don't know. For being a super rare, it doesn't hit. It doesn't give me the warm fuzzies inside being a super rare. This is a super rare. I don't want to open up. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about this card anymore. The Queen of Hearts. Good card. The Rush. You could play this a lot to take out opponents' Robin Hoods into the Inklands meta. If your opponent played Robin Hood, boom, you play down your Queen of Hearts, and then they trade. It's good to take the trades, and then this can also trade into an Olaf, but you have to attack it twice. And it can trade into the Minnie Mouse. It can trade into the 1/3 stat lines if you attack it twice, and that's okay, because it's likely. And then she has her own story going on. She was trying to look for the lore book too, the spell book. It's the amethyst item that we talked about 2 weeks ago. She has her own story going on. And she's not half bad, especially with her Floodborn variant. You can shift this as early as 2. So it's another one of those shift on 2 things. The queens go crazy like that. The yellow queen can do that. You play down the thing on 2. Oh, I guess it doesn't have a 1 cost shift target. You have to do it on 3. Yeah. You can only do this on 3. But it says, whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you may draw a card. And this includes this character, because this is a character. And it doesn't say another character. This is a character. It has to be a challenge against the character. It can't be a challenge against the location. It can't be a challenge against nobody. It has to be a challenge against the character. And then you get to draw a card. You can draw a lot of cards with it. It's got that 4/3 stat line that we've been talking about in reds that we see. Usually more strength than willpower. It's good. This card is underrated. And then paired with Shere Khan, it was another good one. Ooh, look, we're going to talk about Shere Khan in just about 6 more cards. This is Ratigan. Oh, Ratigan. This is my kingdom. That's his ability. When you play this character, exert chosen character with 3 strength or less. Choose one of your characters and ready them. They can't quest for the rest of their turn. Would you have this or a Madame Medusa? Because this almost does the same thing as Madame Medusa, except for you have to find a way to banish the other character. Like, it doesn't auto-banish it. But this quests for 2, and it's a 3/3 body. The Medusa's a 4/4 body, which is better. Yeah, I think you just rather have Medusa than this thing. This is a pretty good We Have Medusa at Home, though. I like it. I played against somebody who played this, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's what that card does. And then they just cleared my board with it. I think I must have only had 1 character with it. But I remember that them playing this card was like the worst thing for me. And if you like doing the worst things for your opponents, this is a card to keep in mind. It's a good one. And when he gets a better Floodborn, this Ratigan might be a good shift target for Sure. And then we have the Rhea. This Rhea has incredible synergy with the charge item. The charge item says give a character resist and they gain rush. Right, let's talk about it. So we'll look at Rhea and then I need to pull up rush. It's not called rush, it's called charge. It says chosen character gains +2 challenger and +2 resist this turn. +2 and +2, and it's only a 2 cost action. Incredible value. So let's go back to talking about her. She has during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. She can't quest for the rest of this turn. So it's similar if you guys have played this Scar ever before. It's got the same ability, but this one is the same ability. Note to self, don't die. It's the same ability, right? This one says during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of the turn. Okay, exact same ability, just different ability names. The hero, princess keyword, and hero keyword. Very good. But if you pair this with the charge ability, gives her resist 2, and then she can just keep attacking. It was so good. If you find another way to give this thing evasive 2, just unstoppable. The challenger 2 puts this to a 4. And then basically a 5 with the resist 2, a 4/5 character on turn 3, I guess turn 4, because you'd have to wait for it to dry, and then you can do it. It's a good wombo combo. It's something to know about. Eric did it against me and wiped my board, and then I haven't forgot it ever since then because it was spicy. It was cool. This one can shift on that Raya, but it doesn't make sense to do. Whenever this character challenges a damaged character, she takes no damage from the challenge. So if you ping everything with Cinderella real quick, then this character can come in and then take no damage, which is useful because she's only got 3 willpower. She's not got the most amount of willpower. She's not the best card, the champion of Kumandra. She quests for 2 though, and that's all right with me. But overall, not a good card. Didn't see the play. Doesn't do what you'd want it to do when you want to do it. You need to be able to change the game earlier. Like this changes the game later. And it's, I don't know. You have to like pair this with like giving it resist somehow. Maybe with mouse armor. This would be coolio, but she can't like challenge ready characters. If she had an ability like that, like Cinderella, I don't know. Overall, underwhelming. And then this Rhea is just here to be pack art. It's just the best art of her. My ba dreams of a united Commandra. I fight to honor that dream, but guess what? You're in Lorcana now. You're not in Commandra anymore. Or maybe Commandra's an idea. It's got the same stat line as this, so that's kind of interesting. You're paying 2 ink for an ability, and the ability is all right because you don't take damage, but I don't know. Just a better art is what I'm saying. Like this is one of the pack arts. Like they definitely were like, yes, this is our poster child for this thing. The Scar, underrated. I traded the Scar for a Morph back when Morph was $3. I traded it and it was like also $3, and then it shot right back up. It got super expensive because it was super good. It's like a be prepared but on a body because you can take out cards, and then if it's still around, it can quest for 2. There's a lot of value here. The rush makes it so good, and it says Daddy isn't here to save you. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of his turn. And this ability, this Daddy isn't here to save you, I think he's talking about Maurice, you know, Belle's dad from Beauty and the Beast, because Maurice has been nowhere to be found in Lorcana after the first chapter. Like, we get his workshop, but he's not there. Where's Maurice? I think that's the daddy that isn't here to save you. There's something going on. I think Scar took out Maurice. He knows what's up. This is another lion tiger guy. This is Shere Khan, and he's got the spice. He's got the OTK abilities. He says whenever one of your character challenges another character, gain 1 lore. So if there's a way to keep challenging, if they have like resist 2 and you have a way to challenge if you take a damage or something, like boom. I forget what it was. There's an OTK available with Shere Khan. There is. He also has an enchanted, so they probably thought that he was going to be better than he was. He's spicy. He's there. Maybe he can win you a game. Like, you can play him down, and then boom, you can challenge into stuff. Like, maybe he's a one-of that you just keep in your hand until the very end of the game, and then you go, ha, it's basically a goat. But if you're playing this, you'd probably rather play a goat. I don't know. The goat's always such a win con, because if you play the goat, Like, no matter what, it's 2 lore. If they remove it, you get a lore. And you played it down, you already get a lore. And if they don't remove it, you quest with it. It's so good. And the goat can just run into one of your opponent's characters and then get a lore that way if it banishes itself. I like the goat more than Shere Khan, but Shere Khan could be a little spicy win con. You keep it in your hand, keep it hidden, keep it secret, keep it safe. The 6th rule ability. Keep your mind sharp and your claws sharper. Zooga Booga. Good art. Good Shere Khan. Not bad. 2 more character cards to talk about. This one is Tigger. He's one of a kind, and he has the Tigger attribute because he's the only one. There's no other Tigger. It's so cool. I really like that they did that they gave him the Tigger attribute because that is his thing. He's the only one. One of a kind. And his ability is not that bad either. It's kind of like that Minnie Mouse diver that we were talking about. It says when you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn. So you can go to a 5-3 if you play an action. Or you can go to a 7-3 if you play 2 actions, or a 9-3 if you play 3 actions, or a 11-3 if you play 4 actions. Is that the number I was on? I don't remember. I went too fast there for my own good. A fun card to look at, not a good card to play, but a fun card to look at. Look how cute that art is. It's a vanilla card, and if you want to play a Pooh-themed deck, it's there for you. And maybe Tigger gets support later on. Like, there is a new Tigger that's coming out in Azurite Sea. It's a little, I think he's a captain. Or maybe he just has the pirate keyword. But he's on a boat. He's doing stuff. And he's not bad. And finally, the last character card here is Tuk Tuk. He's got the Wrecking Ball. He is a way worse version of Zeus and of Rafiki and of kind of Maui. He's uninkable, which just hurts so bad. I wish he was inkable. Maybe they have a quota of how many inkables they have to have. They made Tuk Tuk unplayable being uninkable here. I guess all the other Rhea cards are inkable, so maybe that'd be overpowered if you want to play a Rhea theme deck. I don't know. They just did Tuk Tuk dirty, dude. The Wrecking Ball. There's so many better 4-cost things that do the same sort of thing like Rafiki or the Zeus or the Maui. I know that Maui's 5, but like they do the same things. This doesn't even get Rush. It's just reckless. It's just a Wrecking Ball. Underwhelming card. Don't think about this card. Forget it exists. It doesn't even have cool keywords. It's not worth it. Was that drawn by Brian? Whoa! Brian drew Flounder too. So this is my favorite Lorcana artist, if you ask me. This is the one, dude. Underwhelming card. I'm sorry, Brian, that we got such a bad card there. This is Go the Distance. It says, ready, chosen, damaged character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. And there's an and. There's not an and. There's a period. But it says, draw a card. Ooh, baby, that's good. Ready, chosen, damaged character of yours. So that's the stipulation. It has to be damaged. Ew, yuck. But sometimes you want damage on your characters, like Donald Duck. Or, was there another character that we want damage on? The Wreck-It Ralph. Or you just want characters on damage on cards so you can heal them with Rapunzel, the legendary, gifted with healing. That's how it goes. And it says, draw a card. Ooh, so good. And you can sing it. Ooh, so good. Not that bad. This is Teeth and Ambitions, and this is how we're going to power up our Donald Duck. This was super useful in Rise of the Floodborn meta. It was everywhere. It was in all of the red decks because it's so good. And then the Wombo combo is playing this onto your Prince Eric, the one from Into the Inklands that says when this character is banished, chosen opposing character. So not only would you deal the damage to Eric, it was so good. It was just ridiculous how good it was. You could deal damage and then also just banish a card for free if you played this. It's like a... is Eric a 4-cost? Is that a 6-cost Dragonfire? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as good as I'm thinking, but it's pretty good. Teeth and Ambitions is going to be around. If you don't have a playset of Teeth and Ambitions, I think it's useful. I think if you're a red player, if you want to play red, it's useful. It's not in decks right now, but it's useful. It's a good one. This is the most diabolical scheme. Banish chosen villain character of yours to banish chosen character. Now comes the real tour de force. Tricky and wicked, of course. Incredible. What a poem. I love it. And this one, you can banish a low-cost villain. This is a villain. Are there low-cost villains? This is a villain. This costs 2. Is there a cheaper villain? Is this a villain? No. Felicia's not a villain. Shere Khan sure is a villain, though. And he only costs 3. What a good 3-drop. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for good 3-drops. We're looking for good 5-drops. And then other than that, I don't know. Kind of spicy. I think people did play this just to get rid of Tamatoas. Like, you could banish one of your villains and then banish a Tamatoa because Tamatoa is a villain. And that's how they were drilling it. But if they're playing the red and not playing the yellow song, the most diabolical, the World's Greatest Criminal Mind is like, I think it's in the same song, but the World's Greatest Criminal Mind says banish chosen villain character with 5 strength or more. Or is it any character? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it's villain character. It's any character. I'm definitely thinking about this that says banish villain character. I was definitely getting that confused for no reason. The World's Greatest Criminal Mind just says banish any character with 5 strength or more. And that's a good deal. This one, not so much of a good deal. This is another Radigan action card. Yet again, it says chosen damage character gets +3 strength this turn. It's support on a card, and you could proc it after Teeth and Ambitions. You give yourself a little bit of damage, you give yourself a little bit of strength, and you're good to go. This has a purpose. I can't think of it. Let me know in the comments when you would use What Did You Call Me? What deck would you put this in? Please tell me. This is the You Can Fly song. It says chosen character gains evasive to the start of your next turn. This is a song, and people missed it. This is how you take care of Diablo and have evasive tech, and it only takes up an inkable slot in your deck. It's so good. This is not half bad. If there's more evasive stuff, which there are a lot in my locals, they'll play the Christmas Colors evasive deck, which is a problem. This might be able to help you take out those Pegasuses. Pegasi? If there's multiple Pegasuses, are they Pegasi? This is the dinner bell. You pay it down for 4 ink. It's uninkable. So you have to wait. It's in your starting mulligan. You just wait a whole bunch of time. You got the card, and then boom, finally you pay it down for 4 ink uninkable. But you can't play it yet. You gotta wait until you have more ink, and then you exert it. You pay 2 ink, and then you draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours. Then banish them. So we're gonna try this paired with the Donald Duck with 7 damage on it. That's gonna be our wombo combos. That's all we're hoping for. Dinner belling for 7 cards. Oh, but then you have to banish it? Bad deal. Bad deal. If you have to banish your duck that you already worked so hard to get 7 damage on, bad deal. I want the duck to work so much. Why won't this duck work? It doesn't do it. This is Peter Pan's dagger. If you didn't know about it, it says your characters with evasive get +1 strength. And that might be good with your Diablo, because Diablo wants more strength to not be banished by Medusa. So you give it to this, and then Medusa would still be able to banish it. But if you put it to Hidden Cove, then it goes to a 4/3 finally, and then it's safe from Medusa. This is how you save your Diablo Devoted Herald from Medusa. It's the only way. Trust. That and the Lumiere. You'd probably much rather play the Lumiere that has a body on board that gives +1 strength. But this is cool too. This is the Sword in the Stone. This is the last item card that we got to talk about. You play it down for 1, and then you exert, you pay 2 ink. Chosen character gets +1 strength for each 1 damage on them. So maybe it works with the duck, but the duck you want to be able to quest. I don't know. The stuff that you want damage on, you don't want more strength on, because they're just going to not survive the challenge. But I guess if they need to get up to a lot of strength to banish a big boss monster that has 8 willpower or something. I don't know. We haven't gotten to that point in the game where we're struggling to take out really big cards. I guess we do struggle to take out Cinderella, Stout-Hearted. But that's besides the point. This card isn't good. It's not even good in a Tamatoa red item deck, even though it's a 1-drop, and then you can make this a kicker to draw. It's not good because you don't need the extra strength in that. You can just wait for other better red cards to come out. I think the Vitalosphere completely outclasses this, right? Yeah, I think Vitalosphere made this card obsolete completely. Don't play this, play Vitalosphere. That's all we got for today. This is Lady Tremaine Enchanted and the Shere Khan Enchanted card. We've already talked about them. Thanks for watching. Next week, we are going to talk about all the Sapphire cards, including this Cogsworth, who is a major problem, and this Alice, who we think should work, but doesn't. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. We put out new videos every day.